Elon Musk can give whatever claims or promises he wants about his supposedly successful efforts to crack down on hate speech on Twitter. But based on a number of different analyses, that is not actually what's happening. And some of the increase from particular accounts, specifically in hate speech targeted at the LGBTQ plus community, is truly dreadful. We've talked about this on the show before, but I wanted to dive into it with someone who has studied this particular problem. And so we're very lucky to be joined on the program now by the Deputy Research Director of Media Matters, Kayla Gogarty. Welcome to the Damage Report.
Thanks so much for having me.
Glad to have you here. So Elon Musk says that he is successfully shadow banning accounts that post hate, while at the same time allowing people who had been banned for spreading it back onto the platform. I know that you did an analysis for Media Matters. What was it that you found, and why did you decide to jump into this particular question?
Yeah, so we decided to look at how, if there was any change in anti-LGBTQ hate before versus after Musk took over the platform. So we particularly looked at that anti-LGBTQ groomer slur, which we've seen right-wing media really kind of pick up and push in the last 6 or so months. So we looked at both retweets of tweets with that rhetoric and mentions of accounts in tweets with that rhetoric. And we found substantial increases from the month before versus the month after Musk took over. So we particularly looked at 9 accounts that we know pushed anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. So that would be Tim Pool, Jack Posobiec, Seth Dillon, Gays Against Groomers, etc. They were accounts known to kind of push this groomer slur. And so we looked at them in particular and found that they've had over 1,000% increase in anti-LGBTQ retweets and mentions in those tweets with groomer rhetoric.
Oh, wow. Okay. If you could put up, we have a chart taken from your work at Media Matters showing the increase from before he took over to after, and it's just dreadful. I actually, look, I tried not to expose myself to the raw, unfiltered content of most of these people, so I had no idea that Tim Pool had gotten so much on this particular train, for instance. Okay, so the effect is clear. It's definitely happening, regardless of what Twitter may be saying about this. But my question is why? Is this that Musk taking over has led to more right-wingers joining the service and looking for this sort of thing? Are we seeing a lack of crackdowns on tweets that would have previously been there back when there were employees at Twitter? Or are we actually seeing algorithmic amplification of it? Are we seeing like a positive effect? I know it's impossible, you're not in the code, but what does your gut say is leading to this?
So we know in July, Twitter had confirmed that they considered a groomer rhetoric about LGBTQ people to be covered under their hate speech policy. So we had kind of seen a bit of a crackdown then. But immediately after Musk took over, we don't know whether he changed the policy or anything. He hasn't specifically said anything, but moderation of that language seems to be down. As soon as he took over the platform, we had right-wing accounts immediately try to test the waters and say like, okay, groomer, and kind of push that rhetoric immediately. And we didn't see any moderation on those tweets. So they, once Musk took over, they started, using that rhetoric a bit more as well.
Yeah, and I know I don't see her as being part of this analysis, but I know just over the weekend, Marjorie Greene got a lot of I guess viral cred for her tweets about Walmart being groomers. I guess the CEO or the corporation, can a corporation be a groomer? I don't know. But anyway, for selling sex toys. So they definitely seem to understand that now they're free to use this. They will not be punished in any way. And I wanted to ask you about the previous claims that have been made by Elon Musk about he doesn't want the place to become a free-for-all. He wants advertisers to feel comfortable advertising. So he had said that they were going to set up some sort of advisory council. Do we know where we're at on that happening?
So he said he was going to set up that council and use it to determine any policy changes or reinstatements of previously banned accounts. But that did not come to fruition, and he quickly started making decisions on his own. So that kind of was shown by Trump being reinstated on the platform. He used the Twitter poll, which we know is not scientific and can be manipulated. He used that to determine whether to bring Trump back. And we've seen him single-handedly reinstate dozens of right-wing accounts that had been previously banned, despite those claims of making an advisory council.
Mm-hmm. Well, we don't know if Elon Musk is going to even stay on as the CEO as of another one of his polls from over the weekend. But I think regardless of whether he does or not, he's almost certainly going to still be the one, making the decisions, pulling the strings. It doesn't seem like this rise in groomer language and all that is going to get advertisers to come back who fled since he took over. Where do you think Twitter goes from here? Have you seen any indication that there might be a return of some sort of moderation, or do you think that this is just a sign of things to come?
I think it's just a sign of things to come. And we've seen even just this past weekend the chaos that Musk is creating on the platform. Just random policies that he's pushing out, rescinding them, just a lot of chaos. And I don't think that's good for brand safety for advertisers. And with this anti-LGBTQ rhetoric on the platform, ads from these advertisers could be displayed, right next to some of this anti-LGBTQ rhetoric. And I don't think that benefits them at all.
I don't know if you actually want to potentially spoil anything, but is Media Matters doing follow-up research into hate speech spread on Twitter? Can we expect anything more in this vein in the future?
Yeah, we're continuing to look at it. We've also looked at QAnon discussions, for instance, and also found increases about that conspiracy theory since Musk took over. So we will be continuing to monitor Twitter and some of these changes in moderation since Musk took over.
Awesome. Well, Kayla, I appreciate your work at Media Matters. We rely on Media Matters on a daily basis here at the Damage Report, and we appreciate you joining us in the show. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great to have you here. Everyone, definitely you can head over to Media Matters to take a look at Kayla's work and the work of a number of other great people who work there.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.